Hey guys, so before I start the video, I kind of just want to say that I do have a Twitter, and I'm probably more active on there than I am on my YouTube account, so go ahead and follow that, and we'll get on with the texture pack kind of video. So yeah, today I thought I would do the sword for the pack, and I'm redoing the end pearl in another video because I don't like how it came out. I don't really know how I would incorporate that into a pack unless I figured out a way to like mess around with the insides and have it animated in some way, but I'm probably going to be changing that, so don't worry. I have an idea for it already, and it involves a plugin, so I think you guys might enjoy that. So let's go ahead and get started with the sword. Usually when I start off with my swords, oh, that came out really weird. Usually when I start off with my swords, I start off with a 256 by 256 canvas size, and then I make it into 512 by 512 later. So I'm gonna be making I have this sword already kind of planned out in my head, and I'm gonna be making two versions of it depending on what you guys want in the pack. So I'm gonna be having a curved version and also a straight edge kind of version for the handles. One's gonna be, if I can draw it right, one's gonna be like if it doesn't look retarded, one's gonna be like that kinda, and the other one's just gonna be straight. So yeah, so let's get ahead with this. I have an idea in my head of how I wanted to do this. So basically, like I said, I usually start off with a 256 by 256 canvas size. Make sure that you have anti-aliasing disabled, because if you have anti-aliasing enabled, you're going to be getting these weird half transparent pixels, and that's not going to look good in 1.8. So make sure that's turned off. And I start with my brush width at 3. And I'm going to start with black. And it doesn't really matter where I start off on the canvas, I just gotta get the right shape going. So how thick do I want my handlebar? I usually start with my handles, and then I go into this section over here, and then I do that area, and then the blade last. So I usually start with my handles first, and I don't know how thick I want it. If you guys don't know already with paint.net, if you hold down when you're using this line tool and you press shift, it has like predetermined spaces for it that go around in a circle, and that's what I use to have like straight lines all the time. So I don't know how. I think that's good. That might be too thick, but I'm pretty sure that's fine. So I'm just gonna keep that, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna copy these two, add a new layer, paste it. I'm going to go up here to flip horizontally, and then I'm going to turn it from over here by pressing shift, and then using my right click, and then turning it. And then I'm just going to make sure that those two line up so they're both equal in size, and I'm going to press Control Shift F. And that's so you like really only have to do one side of the sword, and you can just copy and paste onto the other. If you know me, I really like having symmetrical things. I don't really like having things like, you know, asymmetrical. It's kind of weird. So yeah, we have this, and what I wanted to do was, actually, let's grab green here just so we have another color that stands out. I'm gonna take right here and right here, and I'm gonna go out just a little bit and then up. It's too much. Go out a little bit and then up, and let's change that to black, and copy, add a new layer, paste it, flip it, and let's match it up with that corner. And that's way too big for my liking, at least. I don't like it. Actually, I think that size is fine. Actually, don't know. Alright, so we're just gonna keep it like that for now, and we'll see how it comes out in the end. Oh, actually, no, that's gonna look fine. Alright, so we're gonna go in from that same place, and we're just gonna go in until both of these match up to the same place. And there you go. There's one part of it. We're going to copy this, and then we're going to paste it. We're going to rotate it, and we're going to go until right there. That's good. Alright, cool. So now that we have this, I can finally see that it is too big, way too big. Alright, so what we're going to do to fix this is we're going to be getting rid of part of this and bringing this area in more and this area in more. That kind of looked okay. Anyway, we're going to be doing that, so we're just going to be getting rid of those, selecting this, and bringing that in. I kind of only want it in just a little bit, so it just doesn't look too weird. We'll just get rid of that and that. So copy, paste, flip horizontally, and then we're just going to line it up and get rid of those extra pixels we don't want. Copy, paste it again, and then we're going to flip it. And boom, now we have that. So that looks a lot better. That's not too big. It's actually perfectly fine. It's fine sized. I think I want it smaller in the center a little bit. And I want that to be the same size. So we're just going to go in from right here and hold shift. And we're going to go in. Alright, and that's good. So next, now that we have our handle done, right, we're gonna go into this this midsection. Or actually, I'm gonna do this from down here first because this is probably easier. I'm just gonna take my square tool and I'm gonna go in from this corner. I'm just gonna bring it out a few pixels. And there you go. Now you have that done. I'm probably going to go in later and add in another square on the inside maybe, or something else. But yeah, there's that. And now we have the bottom of the blade, right? Which I'm probably going to, I'll get into coloring later and how I do that. But it's going to be the center of the handle. And these are kind of just like extra parts to it, I guess. It's kind of like when I do my blades. Or like not my blades, whatever these are called, the cross guard or whatever. And then I put like, if you guys ever used a POTUS pack before, there's like these kind of extra parts of it. That's kind of like what this is, but for handles. So I'm gonna get rid of that. And what we're gonna do next is alright, on second thought, I don't think that looks that good. Let's get rid of that. So I think instead I'm just gonna have it branch off from there and go in. Seems like a better idea. Yeah, that looks like a much better idea. Okay. So copy, paste onto a new layer, flip horizontally, and then drag it to rotate it. And then Control Shift F to flatten all layers. Let's just go up a little bit and then go in. I made the sides way too long. I gotta fix that. Alright. Fix that after we're done here. Alrighty. Okay, so that's way too much. That's better. Alright, cool. So we have that. Control C, Control V onto a new layer, flip horizontally, and then rotate it again. Control Shift F to make it to flatten all layers. And we're just going to be dragging this in because I don't want it so long on both the sides. And if you guys notice, I do this a lot where I copy and paste it onto a new layer and then rotate it. It's just so that the sides are always symmetrical and I never have to really like fix it. And then down here is, it looks like it's way too long, so I think I'm gonna shorten, never mind. I'm gonna shorten like these extra bits right here. So I'm just gonna bring this part in, because it's not really needed, it's kind of just there for effect. And we're gonna, how many pixels is this? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's counting the outside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we need to cut off all of those, all of these, and we'll just drag this up. And there you go. And fill in all those black ones because we don't need them anymore. And cool, that looks a lot better. Doesn't look as long anymore. So align object, let's just get in the center kinda. I really don't need to do that. Next thing I want to do, I don't know why that's not on 3. It's not good. Alright, there you go, that looked off, that's why. You can either go in, again, like I said, like a triangle if I wanted to, or I can dip in, which I think I want to do for this. I'm gonna dip in, and I just gotta make sure that it's even on both sides. And when you're doing this part right here, where you guys are going in, this determines the size of your blade, kinda, or like how I determine the size of it. So like, if I did it right now as it is, I go from right here, and that determines how thick the blade is gonna be. So if I want it to be, wow, that's really thick. That's like fucking, it's like one of those big ass pencils you get in like kindergarten. It's like, ew. And that's how I determine the size of that at least. So don't want that. Gonna keep on going inward. So gonna go in more, down, copy, paste. And we're gonna flip it. And there you go. So that looks a lot better. This might be a little bit too skinny. Actually might be perfect. I think that's perfect. Just gonna bring that in. Yeah, that's perfect. Alright, cool. So we're just gonna use that, and it's looking good so far. So you guys can always adjust the size of the blade later. I just like to close off the tip now, and then you can make it longer or shorter depending on what you want. I'm gonna make it a little bit longer, and then let's align it to the center. And we'll get into like, what was I gonna say? We'll get into like coloring and stuff in a little bit, but that's what I want for the basic shape of my sword. And right now what I would do is I would add in like the details I would want. Not like details, but like certain easy things that you guys can do like this, and that's good. Alright, so that's it for this sword. Probably took me like, I don't know, God knows how long to do that. Again, next thing I do, after I resize it, I go to 512 by 512, effects, noise, median, go to 1 and 75, and it should bring you to it looking like this. Everything's a lot thicker. And then I take my eraser tool, press E, and then put your brush as 1 and anti-aliasing disabled. And there should be at like almost every corner this one pixel that like sticks out. And you're just gonna go to each one of those. You don't need to go to those corner ones like that, because it looks better like that in my opinion. Things like that, ones that like stick out a lot, you're gonna have to get rid of because it doesn't look good. And down here. So yeah, now that you have that done, your sword is like almost done. You're like, okay, 70% because you need to add all your like effects onto it too. So for coloring, I usually just open up this palette and I choose for the handle any of these grays. Main ones I use are probably this one, this light one, and this dark one over here. And for blues, I usually just use these two. So I'm gonna get started with the grays. Usually for the light grays, I choose the biggest areas, so I'm gonna choose that one and that one. And then for the darker grays, I'm gonna choose these two down here, and I don't think I'm gonna use this light one today. So we're just gonna choose those two dark ones for all those, and that looks pretty great. And then down here, I'm gonna put a diamond texture, the one from one of Duels' packs. His like, I don't know, the one where the picture is like a loaf of bread and it has a face on it. I'm gonna use the diamond texture. I'm gonna put it down there, and the blade's gonna be blue. So there's a sword so far. Now I have to get into texturing. So I'm gonna bring out the texture that I usually use for my handles right now. So I'll be right back. Alright guys, so I'm gonna be taking out this texture, the one that I usually use. I'm gonna be turning it black and white and copy it. And I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna make my color smaller, add a new layer, paste it onto here. And I'm just gonna make it smaller until it covers up just about just my handle. It doesn't matter, I can stretch it out a little bit. But I usually like it on black and white, and I'm just gonna go down here and I'm gonna put it on, not overlay, but I'm gonna be putting it on multiply, because that's what I think looks best. And then I'm gonna go here on my first layer, select the entire outside so we can get rid of everything on the outside except for like the areas where I want it. I'm gonna select also the areas where I don't want it, so I'm gonna choose the blade and the diamond part down there. And after I select all that, I'm just gonna go back to my second layer with the texture on it and control exit, and that deletes it. So now that you have this, without the first layer, as you can see, it's just that texture that I had, and that's what it looks like without me putting any of my effects onto it. So now it may look a little bit dark now, and it's probably gonna look even darker when I put soften portrait onto it. But as you can see right here on my handle, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go on my first layer, not my second one. I'm gonna go on my first one, go to photo, soften portrait, and I'm gonna turn my warmth all the way down. And what I'm gonna do first, I'm gonna get rid of that blue, because as you can see I have like the blue around this edge over here. But I'm gonna go to photo, soften portrait, turn brightness or warmth all the way down, and I think I'm gonna turn this down to about 5, -10, and 0. Lighting being -10 and softness being 5. And press OK, and I'm gonna be doing that for this one down here as well. And if you're turning sound, kind of like trying to get my earbuds to working in there, yeah. All right, so gonna do the same down here, and now has like a shadow effect on it, which is exactly what I wanted. Next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be doing these. So photo, gonna turn my brightness all the way up, and I'm just gonna be putting it on 1 for both of these. I'm gonna be doing the same for these. And that might look a little bit too dark, but that's the way I like it. You could go back if you really wanted to and select those areas and go into adjustments, and then you can turn the brightness up, which is what I'm gonna do here. Gonna go to 10, and that looks a lot better, kinda. Yeah, that's good. I think I need it a little bit darker so you can see a little difference between them two. So that's good. Alright, so we're gonna go back into everything else. So now that we have our handle done, it looks like stone or whatever you want to call it. I just like it because it adds like texture onto it, you know. So that looks cool. And now I'm gonna move on to blades. I want to do this. So I'm gonna go into effects, render, clouds. I'm gonna go to 60. 60? Nah. 100.6. I'm gonna press OK, and now that I have that, I'm going to go to photo, soften portrait, and I'm gonna turn my warmth to 2. My lighting, or actually, do I want warmth even? Yeah, I'm gonna turn that on 5. And my soften portrait, I'm gonna turn on 4. So softness 4, lighting 0, and then warmth 5. Now that I have that done, effects, blur, Gaussian blur. And would 10 be too much? 10's too much. So blur, because you don't want it where it's like transparent on the sides, but you want it enough where it's like noticeably visible and still transparent. So maybe 7. .5. I wonder if that way. I don't even do decimals. That's good. All right. So now we have that. That's cool. I like that. It kind of reminds me of like my Avarice sword kinda. So now that we have that done, just for temporary, I'm just gonna go down here and do the same thing. Or I might keep it depending on how I like it. So yeah, there you go. I have my sword done. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the long ass video of me making a simple sword. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and probably gonna be redoing the ender pearl in another video. I'm probably gonna be changing the color of the sword too because I don't like it, which I'm gonna do as I talk. Gonna be redoing the ender pearl in another video, so hopefully you guys enjoy that. And yeah, if you guys like the video, leave a like, and I'll be sure to do more of these. So yeah, again, like I said, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a nice day. Alright, so I'm adding this in after the video, and I'm just going to do a quick little change to the sword since I didn't like how it turned out. I'm going to add a new layer. I'm going to take my line tool, I'm going to put it on 1. I'm going to go in from the center, anti-aliasing disabled, and I'm just going to go to half of it, and click the outside, go down here, and fill that all in with white. I'm going to select that second layer, and Control Shift F to find all the layers, so I get rid of that first one, and then hue and saturation. I'm just going to turn this down a little bit so that there's a color difference, so it kind of looks like there's a reflection, so I'm going to make it darker. So I think I'm going to go with -30. And yeah, and I think that's all I want to change.